Hey everybody, welcome back to another beautiful day in real estate. Today we're going to go over interest rates, we're going to talk about oil, we're going to talk about investments a little bit, and then we're going to go over a little bit of data. And then on the back end, we're going to talk about being a good real estate agent, being a good salesperson in the market we're in right now, how to succeed and continue moving forward. So first off, as always, yesterday, interest rates ticked above that 6.5 to 6.2 across the board. On average, $450,000 price for homes across the United States. We finally saw the FHA and the VAs tick into the sixes again. People are going to be people are still buying homes. Don't get me wrong. I'm seeing business beginning of this year, but I'm also seeing a lot of people kind of fall off the market right now. A lot of people aren't confident enough to jump into the market. And builders, again, we're offering incentives, and that's why I'm still seeing buyers. My building is picking up, and the main topic of conversation I see, especially in my market, is there's nothing on the market, so I figured we'd try new construction. People are building homes because if they have to pay at these high interest rates once again, they're gonna end up building something they want. And the other thing I'm noticing is I'm sitting down with people. Last year, people were like, I have 2.5%. I'm not moving. 3.5, right? People are sitting down and realizing they have to move now, whether they're expanding for their family, whether they need less space and less maintenance, whether they need, I don't know, maybe they're just trying to upgrade their home in general. People are coming out of the COVID in about 5 years ago, right? They locked into their rates at 2.5 to 3.75. And this means that people are still moving in the market. We're still seeing people go in my market, but it's because people have to. People don't really want to, but they're not letting the interest rates hold them back anymore. It just kind of goes to show me, based off of my recent interactions, that people are actually feeling more comfortable with um, the new norm. And the new norm is the sixes. I think we're back to the old norm, which is the new norm at sixes, 6% interest rates. We're probably going to see maybe low sixes to high fives the end of this year. I still think we have a lot of things to look forward to. There's a lot going on right now behind the scenes. I mean, whether you're talking about the crypto clarity bill or you're talking about Fannie Mae accepting mortgage-backed security or crypto-backed mortgages, there's just a lot of new things coming into the market. There's a lot of uncertainty still. But again, if you're an investor, you have to find the investment class that you love and you have to dive in fully. Like, if you believe in it, like I'm putting a lot of my ponies in crypto, but it's because I know what I'm invested in. Investors are going to put a lot of their money into real estate. I'm putting money into real estate this year and building homes myself because I know what market I'm in. Things always look the glimmest before they look the brightest, right? Not to say that the market can't shift and we can see a bad market. There's a possibility behind it. I still don't think it's going to happen just yet. But right now, oil is a big driver right now, and as we talked about a couple of days ago, we saw a little bit of solid bottoms here at about 87 to 89. We saw 2 days where it kind of tucked, and now we're starting to move forward up again. I think $100 for a barrel for crude is going to be a perfect resistance. 105 is kind of where we're sitting. If we can break through that, then we're on our way to 115 again. They're saying we could see barrel $150 a barrel, and I mean, if that's the case, chances are we're going to see interest rate hikes this year. And for the first time in 2 years, we're starting to talk about interest rate hikes once again. I mean, this is kind of my point, that when we see ourselves in an uncertain market, we kind of need to know what we're doing. So agents and new home salespeople, this is why it's so important for you to understand the market, because you're going to have people sit down in front of you, and this goes for any buyer or seller, you guys, you're going to not be comfortable about moving forward. And I get it. I totally understand it, because right now everything seems so uncertain. But if you know the game, you can't be played, right? I could be wrong. Tomorrow I could wake up and my whole investment portfolio is at zero. But here's the thing: I'm confident when I'm investing in, and that's the difference, right? So agents, it's your responsibility. Salespeople, it's your responsibility. Understand your market, understand how to guide people in uncertain times, and you will be successful in this industry. Now, I did pull a little bit of data on what is shifting the market right now, and clearly there was 6 topics. So again, using Claude, super beneficial, by the way. It pulls statistics for me, right? So Treasury jumps from 3.96 to 4.25 since end of February to mid March. So in 2 weeks, we saw almost a 50 basis points hike, right? That's 50 basis points, 30 basis points, excuse me. Um, Pretty big jump for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Holy crap. It's the end of the month already. Wow. It's flying by. Um, Interest rates today are averaging 6.38, and the interest rates were as low as 5.99 in February. Mortgage apps dropped 5% in the last week after the strikes. People, again, are uncertain, so they're stopped looking to buy a home. Oil prices reached $119 a barrel. The home sales forecast cut from 4.3 to 2.3. They're revising it down. So they're just saying that there's probably going to see about a 2.3% increase in home sales this year, as they initially thought there was 4.3. The Fed rates cuts are down to 26%. For any cut in 2026, meaning that most people are not optimistic about that happening at all. The other one I wanted to touch on is builders. New home inventory for builders on average, highest since 2022, 9.7 months of inventory. People, this is why builders are offering incentives. Right here, my market, I still only have 2 finished inventories available, and I have 3 inventories that are under construction right now, 4 inventories. And I'm still getting bites pretty aggressively. It's just people are a lot slower to pull the trigger. And the reason is because they need a reason to buy, right? And that's why my home's like my home sitting on the higher mid-range. So I have a home on the golf course, 725,000, beautiful home, older home, little outdated, but beautiful home. And it's been sitting. We've only had 4 showings. And this is the conversation that most agents don't want to have. Like, after this weekend, if we don't get any bites after the open house this weekend, we get to sit down with our seller and say, listen, I know we dropped the price pretty significantly, but the market's telling us we're not there yet. And it's because people aren't buying unless they're incentivized to buy. And in a market where only certain people are looking to buy, in a market or in a home that's niched out so particularly, you have to understand how to talk to your clients about this, because again, your reasoning for helping this person get their house sold is extremely important, that you understand what you're doing, because this is the hardest time right now that you're probably going to be selling a home until things shift. In 2024, 2025, I saw a lot of agents pull away from the market. I'm seeing a lot more agents that are struggling to make ends meet right now because they can't sell a house. This is a different market. You have to understand what you're doing. I talked to an agent. He's been in the industry for 30 years. She said that the last year and this year is the slowest it's ever been for her. Things are shifting very aggressively, you guys. But again, homes are still selling every single day. The optimism here is that you just need to understand how to be better in your market, how to be the agent that stands out, that provides value. First off, as a salesperson in general, you need to know what you're selling, period, point blank. Number 2, you need to understand how to create good relationships with the industry that you're in. If you're not creating good, as a builder, if you're a salesperson for a builder and you're not creating good relationships with the agents, you're shooting yourself in the foot. As an agent, if you're not interacting with other agents and lenders and really trying to figure out what the best fit is, you're gonna get smacked in the face. But I did a video on this yesterday, one of my shorts, and one of my shorts was talking about if you choose the wrong lender, you are going to screw the deal, especially in today's day and age, right? I have 2 lenders on my list right now, a third one in my back pocket that I would trust 100% to send my clients to. And the reason that is because I interview my lenders every quarter. Sometimes it's a little longer because I have some pretty solid ones, but I like to make sure they're on their toes. Number 1, they have to earn the right to be on my referral list, because I'm not just going to put you on a referral list and just start throwing business your way and you're going to drop your service. If you're going to be in this industry in this time, you need to know what you're doing and you need to be on your toes, right? If I drop somebody off at your doorstep, they don't hear from you for 3 days, sorry, you're no longer on the list, right? If I send you there, and I should say this, when I interview them, my biggest focus is how can I make sure that they're a good fit for my clients? Are they going to provide the best service possible that they can offer, even if it means bringing their commission lower? Because in this industry, some in insurance, in lending, some of these things will drop their commission a little bit if they provide the best service, right? Number 2, if they're working with a client and they don't have the best product, but they know over here this person does, and they don't pass it along or call me or let me know about something like that. I interview a lot of lenders. I know what's out there. And if I talk to my client and they go through and they say, well, this is what the lender provided me, nope, we'll move you to a better lender. And all of my lenders are going to do that. They're going to call me and say, hey, this isn't, and it's happened twice already in the last 2 months. They called me and they're like, hey, I'm not the right fit. This person is. I'm going to pass you along. This is my referral. And the referral is as good as the one that I'm sending. The big thing is especially in a time of affordability, especially in a time of affordability issues, you're going to need to be working with people that know how to make a deal work and know how to make it make sense, right? The lender can make or break the deal. There's a local bank here that provides a lot of service for a lot of people, and I get a lot of pre-approvals from them. And I'm not gonna lie, I move them. I move them to different lenders because this is a good bank. They do great work. They've been in the industry forever. They're a big dog. But the thing is that they don't have the best product for the market right now, and that's why I don't use them very often, because I want my clients to get into a home. And sometimes, especially right now, they're going to get into a home and realize that if there's a different product on the table that can get them into a home versus price them out of a home, that's what's going to make or break the deal. Right now, we're not talking about $50,000-$60,000 differences in a home. We're talking about $10,000 differences. $75 a month is going to change the way that somebody looks at a house, because that's where people are. So if I'm not providing that value and putting you in front of a lender that knows the market, and number two, has the best quality for the service, I'm doing my clients a disservice, and I'm also doing myself a disservice, right? So obviously we have to make sure that we're making money as a business, but we also need to be providing the best influence on our buyers. That's how you get recommendations. That's how you get referrals. That's how you get positive feedback. And that's how you get better relationships with other realtors, right? If you come into a deal and you make the deal crash because you were too lazy to call the lender and figure out what was going on. Oh, your client calls you and says, oh, we got pre-approved. We just can't afford it. On to the next. I've had, I don't know how many times now where I've called the lender, number one lender I use, and I say, hey man, what do we got to do? And he will find a solution. That's the person you want to be in front of. You want a problem solving lender, not one that's just there to sit at the desk from 9 to 5, take the weekends off. Sorry, I know people have lives, but dude, on the weekend, that's where the money's being made. And if you're not going to be in this industry to work the weekend, then you're in the wrong industry, in my opinion. Times have changed. Now, here and now is what we need. So, anyways, buyers, this is also important for you too. If you sit down with a lender, you don't feel 100% confident in what they're doing, I'm always going to encourage you to go and have multiple interviews if you're not comfortable. If you sit down with somebody and you leave feeling confident about making an offer on a home, then you're in the right place. If you're still feeling uncertain, you went to the wrong person. And it's no fault to buyers, but right now, most buyers, they sit down and the first person they interview is the person they go with. And by doing something like that, it just kind of shoots you in the foot. So buyers, it's important for you to know which lender. And if you're a seller's agent, you should be verifying with that lender the pre-approvals. There's some lenders around here that will throw a pre-approval out there and they don't have it done correctly, or it's not prepared correctly. And then the deal falls through, cost my seller time on market, cost my seller an offer. And because we go back on market, now we're getting a lower price on the home because it looks like we did something wrong. Even if we insure them, it wasn't our fault. The buyer's not going to look at it from that perspective. So lenders drive this market right now in a lot of ways. And a lot of realtors don't look at it that way. They look at the pricing of the home and they say, why isn't it selling? Well, it's not selling because the right lender isn't talking to the right buyer to get them into the home. So it's important for you as a salesperson to not only know your industry, but also know how to solve things and come from a perspective of empathy and understanding. Because some agents that have been in the industry for a while and they make good money, they forget what people really go through. Like, people are still out here trying to make ends meet on a monthly basis, and all they want to do is buy a home. But the mortgage payment is $3,000 a month, and you have to factor in $200 a month for, I'm just spitballing here, but $200 a month for homeowner's insurance, and then you have to factor in your special assessments if you're in a new neighborhood. And most people, that feels like it's hopeless from the get-go, right? Because they only make $5,000 a month. How are they going to pay a $3,600 or $3,400 a month payment and still make ends meet? And that's why so many people are on the back burner. It's not because they can't buy homes, it's just because they don't know how to buy homes, because it's a different world. So making sure that you're paying attention to how this works and really understanding the nit and grit behind what an agent should be doing, what a salesperson should be doing to help get somebody to the finish line, that's what's going to shift the market this year for you. That's what's going to make your business grow. That's what's going to make you gain more business, is because the person who you help that was literally feeling hopeless and you brought them to a closing, those are the ones that are going to be more excited to tell their friends and family about you, because you got them to a point where they didn't think was possible. So my whole wraparound for this, I guess, is we just kind of got onto the salesperson side of thing. But Right now, everything looks very dim and glim for a lot of people. But you as an agent have the opportunity, or you as a buyer, you as a seller, you all have opportunities to make it work. It's just working with the right people to make it happen. We're building this year where our payment's basically going to go double of what it was before, but we're going to walk into some equity because we have an opportunity to do so. But even yesterday, I sat down with two people. They were looking to get into a home, and we're still able to build homes under 500,000 and still give them 2,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, that sort of thing, 3-stall garage, and keep it livable, right? And make it build a good home. So I've made it this far because I've learned that solving problems is how the industry works. It's not about making an offer and hoping everything works out. It's making an offer, it's walking your clients through it and making them feel comfortable, making them understand what's going on, understanding yourself, how to explain to people. If you're good at your industry, I watched a video with the Wolf of Wall Street in it just this morning, actually. He was talking about there's three things that you need in order to make it as a salesperson and doing cold calls, but it pertains to real estate too. You need to be confident and you need to know your market. Those are the two that stuck out to me. Confident, know your market. Confident, know your market. If you're confident in what you do, that means you know your market. If you know that, it projects to the buyer, to the seller, and you will get more business because of it. Now, more than ever, we need to understand what it means to be in real estate. We need to understand what it means to help people, and we need to understand what it means to guide people to the finish line. Because until things shift, we could see a crash, that like a COVID crash. Like I've heard the conversations about it. I know what they're looking at. I don't see it's there yet, but if we go to a full blown war before we see the upside and money printers go back on and all that stuff, we're gonna see something go down. So we'll find out as the weekend progresses what that looks like, but we're going to continue to move forward. We're going to continue to educate people as best we can. And for right now, I know there wasn't a lot to this video, but we're going to see what we can do to provide value for people. So thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend. I hope you have a great day.